Welcome to the Inglorious Blasters podcast, the Star Wars Legion podcast talking anything and everything glorious or inglorious about the game. My name is Corey, and with me today are two fuzzballs I call friends, John and Brendan. How's it going, my dudes?
It's going good.
I'm less of a fuzzball. I've shaved my beard down a little.
Brendan's got a fresh haircut, looking sharp.
Ooh, fresh cut.
It's so short, I don't like it. But it's been too hot not to.
It's been very hot. Yeah, I don't blame you. So today on the podcast, we're going to be doing our Glorious versus Inglorious segment. It's back. If you've missed it, don't worry. We got plenty of debates coming up. We're going to be talking about B2s today. And then we're also going to go over some Ewok list building ideas, or, you know, maybe you just want to counter them because I think there's going to be a lot of people playing them. So yeah, either way, we're going to get both sides of the stories on that one. Stick around. Should be a fun one. But before we begin, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors of the podcast. So we got Baron of Dice. Check out baronofdice.com. Check out his Faraway Galaxy collection for all of your Star Wars Legion dice. He's got great different looking dice in a variety of different colors. He's got a clear set, and then he's also got like a more marbled or matte set. They also have faction specific symbols, so it's a great way to show off your faction. It's overall really, really sweet. If you use checkout code Glorious, you'll get a little bit of a discount. Check them out. Brendan, how's Panhandle 3D going? Tell us all about our 3D printing needs.
Yeah, Panhandle 3D for all of your 3D printing needs. If you want a really cool looking Star Wars table, go to Panhandle 3D. They will 3D print a lot of awesome terrain for you. In case you don't have a 3D printer or you don't want to make stuff yourself, 3D printing from Panhandle 3D is the way to go. The prints are amazing, and the prices are great, and the prices can get even better using the checkout code Glorious for a 15% discount.
Nice. And we have a new sponsor for the podcast.
New!
John, why don't you tell us about him?
Yeah, I am extremely excited about our newest sponsor, The Dice Must Flow. They're a new sponsor, but you have seen their stuff, because if you have seen our dice trays that we have been using over the last year, which are absolutely amazing, we are now sponsored by The Dice Must Flow, who have been making those dice trays for us. They have traditionally been in blue, although at ACO we had our first run of red dice trays that we have been giving out and using. So all of those have been purchased through The Dice Must Flow. So we are now partnered with them. So you can go over to their Etsy shop, which is The Dice Must Flow at Etsy.com. And you can get a 15% off discount really off of any of the dice trays that he has available over there. They have Warhammer 40k dice trays, Age of Sigmar dice trays, D&D, Marvel, Star Wars, and pretty much anything you want on a dice tray, they can do it. They offer all kinds of different custom work. That's how we were able to partner with them to do our custom dice trays. But if you use coupon code IGBlasters, all uppercase, IG obviously for Inglorious Blasters, you can get 15% off any of the ones that they have on their shop or any of your custom designs. And they'll continue pumping out dice trays that will be given out at tournaments and as prize support in the future. So really excited about the partnership with them. So that's The Dice Must Flow. Check it out.
Awesome. So we also have some upcoming tournaments that we want to give a shout out to. We have the Crucible coming September 29th. That is over in Florida. I think it's the Universal Resort. So go play Legion for a day, and then the following day, go to Disney. Maybe build a lightsaber. There you go. John, do you know what you're bringing to that yet? Like list-wise or no?
I'm betting the Republic.
It's probably Republic.
It will be a Republic. That is for sure.
Excellent. And then I'm going to give a shout out to my own tournament going on. So we got Critical Hit Games over in Abington, Maryland, August 19th. We got 14 players. Sign up. There's a Facebook link, an Eventbrite page as well. So check it out. It should be pretty fun. No Worlds in Fight, but that's okay. We're just going to have fun.
And for anybody who is in the region and going to the Nova Open, that is 2 weeks beforehand. So it's a good chance for practice if you're intending to test out your Nova list.
Yeah, good point. Test out your Nova list.
Or just come up with a new list by then. Like I will probably end up doing.
You're usually good at that, where you just go in fresh. You're like, I've never played this list.
Yeah.
Bam, I'm like 5-1. Very nice. Alrighty. How about we get into our main segment, Glorious versus Inglorious? What do you guys think?
Sounds like a plan.
For one of these.
I've been waiting. I'm excited. So today we're going to be talking about B2s. You remember B2s, right? They're like the second core option for the CIS. So for those of you that don't know how this segment works, there is going to be a debate between two players, and then the other podcast host is going to be the judge. So I'm going to have the side of Glorious, saying that B2s are awesome and you should definitely take them. And Brendan, that's who it is. Brendan has the side of Inglorious, so he's saying they are bad. We have to convince John, our judge. Hopefully he is impartial. We're going to see how impartial he is.
He's a GAR player. I don't know.
He is a GAR player. Can we really trust his opinion? So it should be a fun debate. Before we start, though, Brendan, do you want to go over the unit card for the B2s?
Indeed. The B2 Super Battle Droids, a core unit for the Separatists. They have 3 minis in the base squad. They are a droid trooper with 2 health per model, courage of 2, and white defense dice. They do not surge either way. They have a speed of 2. They have arm cannons, which are range 1 to 2, a black and a white. They are unarmed in melee with 1 black die. They have a heavy weapon, a personnel, and a comms upgrade. They have AI attack, which means if they don't have a face-up order token, their first action must be an attack if they can. And they have armor 1, so while defending, they cancel 1 hit result. A base squad is currently 45 points. The heavy weapon options they have available to them are the B2 ACM Trooper for 24 points. This unit adds a mini as well as a gun range 1 to 2 and 3 red. Or the B2 HA Trooper, also known as the B2 Ha, is a range 2 to 3 gun, 2 red and a white that exhausts. It has blast and cycle and impact 2. So blast ignores cover. Cycle means if you didn't use it and it was exhausted, it can come back. And impact 2 for into armor. And that is a 32-point upgrade. For personnel, you can add a normal B2 Super Battle Droid for 13 points. You can add an EV Series Medical Droid for 14 points. This droid would only have 1 health in this squad and not 2. This also a PK Series Worker Droid for 12, also 1 health and not 2. A T-Series Tactical Droid for 1 health and not 2, which adds a gun range 1 to 3 and 1 red die. The unit would lose AI attack and get reliable 1, and the leader would be the T-Series, and the T-Series can only use its own gun for 18 points. And then lastly, the Viper Recon Droid, 1 health on this droid. It has a gun range 1 to 2, 2 white, and it has Observe 2 and Sidearm ranged. So it can only use its ranged gun. This is 6 points.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you for that. So, Honorable Judge John, who do you want to hear from first?
Let's go, Corey. Let's hear why they're glorious.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. Well, I think they're a great unit. I used to run them back in the day, and they're a lot of fun. They throw a ton of dice. They're also a hardy unit. Like they have like a lot of wounds. They are 2 wounds each. So they're like, they're like surprisingly durable, especially with armor 1. So for example, if you're sitting in heavy cover, they're going to remove 2 off the top, and then 1 more if they don't have any, if they have no sources of impact over there, right? So overall, you're going to be like most of the time removing 3 off the top, which I think is like pretty great for like a normal core. Their saves aren't the best, but I think you could definitely mitigate that a lot by giving them dodge tokens and using the T-Series tactical droid upgrade, the personnel upgrade. So before I get too like crazy, I think the best configuration for them is going to be the B2 hat, as like it's lovingly called, meaning the upgrades you put on them is the B2 HA. That's the range 2 to 3 blast cycle impact 2 gun. And then you put on the T-Series tactical droid personnel. So that comes in at 95 points. It's a little expensive, but you get to ignore cover. Ignoring cover these days is pretty great. They have a great die pool for getting... It's not... Okay, before I like blow anyone's minds, it's not fantastic at range 3, but you know what? If they have no cover at range 3, you're getting 3 shots that they have to make saves for. Maybe 4 if that white die hits, but it may or may not. All I'm getting at is ignoring cover these days when like most of the time something will have heavy, in my opinion, is pretty great. This weapon at range 3 also has impact 2. That's also amazing for today's meta, right? Everyone's bringing armor, and then like, this also is this weapon's good into normal troopers, and then this weapon's also good into armor. So you're getting like a good benefit of both, right? So how do I think you should run B2s? You could splash them into like a list as like a one of, but I don't think that's super effective. I think you have to kind of at least put 3 in a list in order for like some redundancy and some like real heavy shots to get through. So for example, if you have not a T-Series, the super tactical droid, right? So if you have Kalani or even Kraken, take your flavor of tactical droid. If you give them a dodge and an aim before they go in to go shoot something, like they're going to have a good time. So, I mean, like, overall, I think B2s are like pretty sweet. They have some difficulty getting in if you're fighting against like a better gun line that is better at shooting at range 3 and or range 4. So you have to kind of support them a little bit with some more tokens. Like Roger gives out dodges. Again, the super tactical droid will help you out over there too. You kind of need a bigger threat than the B2s. So Brendan might compare them to Black Sun Enforcers. I'm not going to argue for him, but let's pretend you take Black Sun Enforcers and B2s in the same list. Now, which one do you shoot? They're both scary units. Like they're gonna, 6. Let's pretend you fit 6 of them, like any combination, into a list. You march them forward. Which one do you shoot? You can't kill them all. I guarantee you that. I think that's how B2s are gonna thrive with a different threat on the board. You can put them inside of a snail tank. You can drive them up and just like unload. And you get that natural heavy cover inside the snail tank, which is like always appreciated. And one last thing, you can hide them behind spider droids. Like let's pretend you do a flamer variant and you just want to go forward. I think that's pretty fun. You could just hide them behind that. You can hide them behind droidicas if you build them correctly. They're like just about the same height as a regular trooper silhouette. So there's a lot of different ways you can fit them, but you have to like make sure you have another threat alongside the B2s, because otherwise I think they're going to pick them apart pretty easily. So there you go. It's definitely one of my favorite, more favorite thematic units in the game. I just love putting these guys on the tables. Also, they have a cool name, B2 hats. I just kind of want to like 3D print some hats and put them on my B2s. So I think they're pretty great. There you go.
Cool. Right on. Brendan, what say you?
I will say that the most glorious thing about them is their looks, because they just look awesome. After
Okay, we can
that,
stop there.
after that, it's all downhill. So, I mean, Corey made some excellent points, and yes, I am going to compare them to Black Sun Enforcers.
I knew
it. So, I mean, a lot of what Corey said was, they've got a great die pool. They can do blast and range 3. They've got a full squad. The way that Corey talked about them, the B2 hat is a total of
should be 95.
95 points, correct. And that is, I think I'm doing the math right, 9 wounds behind white saves that have 1 search token to help them on defense. So, yeah, if you get through whatever cover they're in and the 1 armor, they have terrible saves. They are going to die. Meanwhile, Black Sun Enforcers have red defense dice.
Oh, here it comes.
And you can get the Magnet, the Vigo, targeting scopes, and frag grenades, and have that squad be 95 points, the same as your B2 battle droids. And that squad is just going to hit so much harder than the B2s ever will. That is not to say that it's the right option for whatever list you're building. But for the same points, you're getting a unit that's going to survive better and has a lot more offensive upside. The other way you can go is, well, it's a horde army. You want to have as many wounds in your army as possible. Why not just do B1s instead? They're just going to die just as easy as the B2s. And you can get a full squad at 60 points instead of 95, and that's 8 wounds. So you're saving 35 points and losing out on 1 wound. So you can really have a lot more in your army if you just go the B1 route. But yeah, so B2s, you could not do the T series and save a lot of points. But then you have to deal with AI. AI is a terrible keyword on a unit that wants to probably be recovering with the Ha Trooper, unless you decide to go full in and go with the ACM Trooper to just go, well, if I'm not at range 2, I'm not shooting yet. So, but that is honestly not the option if you're going to build them you want to, because there's a lot less upside there. Same with any extra person in the squad. The only one you will probably ever take is the T-Series. You are not going to take anything else. You could add a normal B2 to get it up to 10 wounds behind armor 1, but then you have to deal with AI. At that point, you either have to have amazing order control, making sure it gets chained to, again, probably more than one B1, a B2 squad, or you're dealing with AI on at least one of them, because these guys, unlike the B1s, do not coordinate. So they're not helping with your order control. So, yeah, B2s, they used to be a real terror on the table. There were people who were running armies of 6 of these guys, and they were scary. Those were scary days. You just don't see them anymore. They whittle to a better gun line because they can't get in fast enough. They have to waste activations to recover if you want them to be at their best. So then they don't have aims to help with their die pool, which, hey, guess what? Black Suns always have an aim because you're not giving them orders. So, again, B2s are amazing to look at. They're very intimidating looking. They are honestly more intimidating looking than the lizard men, but they are not as intimidating as the lizard men on the table.
Yep. Do you mind if I give some pushback?
Yes.
Just because I finally remembered some points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throw out a couple
Yeah.
counter arguments.
Yeah.
Slap him in the face.
I mean, everything that Brendan said is mostly correct. You can, I know, right? Shocking. You can actually recover the gun using the super tack, right? He's got the 3-pip. So after you move shoot on one turn, the following turn, you play the super tack 3-pip. It lets you recover two things that have face-up orders. So I mean that's pretty good. That's actually not bad.
So great, you're spending 90 plus points to make them a little better for one turn.
Yeah.
You were all in.
Man, I'm
that
trying.
point. All in.
I'm trying to do anything. Yeah, it's man, it's just like I should probably just stop talking. It's just rough going for B2s. Like I love this unit. I hate comparing it to something else, but the general power creep in the Black Sun Enforcers, they just do the B2 job, a lot easier. But I think there's merit though in like CIS in combination with Black Sun, because you can't take 6 Black Sun in CIS. You can get 3 Black Sun plus almost like watered down Black Sun, and I think watered down Black Sun, like if you want to just like go forward and just kill something, I think that's pretty decent. They can also hide behind tanks now, like because the during the new rule change, like it's full line of sight blocking, so like that's actually a great way if you just move a tank and like let your B2s follow behind it. I know I said spiders and droidicas, but honestly, like you can hide behind a snail or an AAT and probably does that job way better. So anyways, I'll stop there.
No,
I love you, B2s.
Yeah, I agree. B2s are a fun unit. They are definitely a fun unit. The only problem is getting them to reach.
Yeah, that's why you need something scarier.
Yes. I recommend something scarier if you are going to run them. Usually that is lightsabers. People are going to be more scared of that than your unit, your B2s.
Right. Maul or Asajj might be a good candidate.
They used to be much cheaper, didn't they? Because honestly, when we were talking about doing B2s, the first thing I thought was, man, whatever happened to B2s? Because ACO 2021 Maul B2s was like very prevalent at the time, and B2s were scary.
That's what I ran. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think Kyle won ACO 21 with Maul B2s.
He did.
Right.
Most certainly did.
I mean that three red, 1 white, but at that time with Blast, that was like a decent pool. That was before we started hitting these like crazy big like 10 die pools. Outside of like Z6 pools and stuff like that, but that's like flooded with white die.
I will say I don't know exactly what the points were in 21, but the B2s are currently, if you're doing the hat variety, 3 points cheaper than they used to be, because the full squad itself used to be 48 when it came out. Now they're 45. The Ha and the T series are the same points.
If I remember correctly, the Ha went down like 2 points and then went back up.
That's possible.
I think it did, but I could.
I'm surprised because as soon as I was like, the first thing I did was like, all right, what's the optimal build? And that's like immediately what I looked at was the B2HA with the T series, and I was like, 95 points for this. Because yeah, I mean, I started kind of writing out my pros and cons, and then was taking notes as you guys were talking. And the first thing I wrote out was cons: expensive. 95 points for what I considered optimal build. Because immediately, you try not to compare, but for 95 points, you're like, man, Magna Guards with an RPS, 106, Cad Bane, 105, Bosk, 105, Black Suns, 95. Like, so you start listing off all the units in CIS that you can get for around that points or within, 10, and you're like, why would I ever take B2s? Especially when you then have to play, like, no coordinate. Like there's just so many different things where they no longer really gel with the rest of what you're trying to do, when you should really rely. And again, I'm not like a CIS player, so take it with a grain of salt, but I really feel like you need like a lot of B1s as your main core. Like I feel like you just have a ton of them. I like that E5S, like the range 4 crit gun, so then they can kind of chill in the background and then swamp objectives at the very end. Or mix and match with that and the whatever their variation of the RPS is, so you have impact with all the armor running around or dark troopers. But there just seems like there's so many other better options in that 95 point range. Because that range 3 with the 3 red, 1 white, impact 2, like 2 years ago, that was a good die pool. And blast is nice with everything having heavy cover, but it's still, you're only going to get 3 hits because that white die is pretty much a gamble. And if you're going to spend your reliable on one of those red having a surge, probably you're only going to have 3 paint that go through. And if everyone's playing red dice, I mean, you're going to push through 1 wound on clones, maybe a wound and a half on Empire. So it's very minimal. Brendan, I see your hand is raised. Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you for acknowledging me, sir. So I just want to nail the hammer, just nail that last nail, hammer that last nail into the coffin of the B2s. All right, here we go. 2 other units you are likely to see that are cheaper than a B2 hat unit. This first one, I mean, okay, maybe they're not both likely to see, but it's more bang for your buck, it feels like. Shore Troopers with a T-21B and an extra guy is 94 points, 1 point less than the B2s.
You stop it. Stop it.
Phase 2 Clone Troopers with a mortar and a medic are 93 points, 2 points less than B2.
No, stop it. I can't take it. I can't take it. Look, they can't be suppressed, okay? They're good.
I did have one.
Yeah, there are a lot of other good options.
I had 1 bullet point under pros. I put that they were durable. I got that out of it, because the armor with the 2 wounds and the heavy cover. But Brendan immediately made a point of, as soon as you get through that armor and the heavy cover, so you wipe away the 3, I mean, they're probably going to take every wound beyond that.
I will say one thing about the B2s, that they are possibly one of the best units for hostage exchange. They're definitely the ones with the most health that you have to get through. And at range 2, you don't want to necessarily get too close to them with the dice pool they're going to throw.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
And then you throw the hostage on them, they're then Courage 3 droid trooper. So there's no chance in slowing those guys down with suppression.
Yeah, you're not gonna panic them.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm ready to make my verdict. Although you guys probably can guess the direction.
No, I'm still holding hope. I'm holding on.
Inglorious.
This is the Confederacy. There's no hope here.
No. I demand a recount. This is absurd.
And Corey, I haven't seen you play B2s in 2 years, so you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right, to be honest. Okay, to be fair, I am looking at them again. I don't like paying 95 points, but I am looking at them again very hard. In conjunction with, like, I have like tons of lists that I'm like floating around in my head, but basically 3 Black Suns loaded, 3 B2s, and it's basically a what do you call it? An independent, or like you don't really care about order control, so you could throw a Kraken in there if you want that, or you can throw them in a snail tank and stuff like that. So I think there's like definitely CIS list building ideas that don't center around B1s. I think that's the direction that I want to go when I like play some practice games. I think there's like something of value there because all the dice pools have gotten like insane. So Black Suns are really good still after the slight points increase. So I think they're worth playing in CIS. So I want to just give that a shot. Anyways, I'm talking about Black Suns, not B2s.
No, I agree. Black Suns next to B2s, I'm terrified.
So, yeah, see, like, again, you have a watered down Black Sun Enforcer. You know, like, if you have 3 watered down ones and 3 regular powered ones, like, I think that's still pretty scary.
If you throw in a tank or a snail and use it as just a line of sight blocker until they get close enough to demolish everything, terrifying.
You can easily get to at least 8, but I think you can get to 9 acts too. So like that's not nothing. It's still pretty good, especially with the pass mechanic now. So
yeah, no,
it's good.
That's probably a discussion for another day. But
yeah.
9 acts now is fine because of pass.
Absolutely.
I've actually seen more 9 act lists and an increase in 8s also as a result.
Lila's Pink Suns was 8, right? 8 acts.
Yep.
It
was Maul, 6 Black Suns, and then a bus. So yeah, 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely 8 works.
Is there any, and I don't, this is a legit question. Is there any merit to, I was just curious if there's any cheaper builds, but you could do the B2s with the ACM and then just the extra dude for 82 points. You'd have 5 guys, 10 wounds, and you would throw 4 black, 4 white, 3 red. So an 11 die pool for 82 points.
The only reason I don't like that is because you can't fight at range 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you lose impact, right? That's the main thing. You lose impact.
And it doesn't surge.
That's why I don't necessarily like it.
And AI.
And yeah, and you have AI, which is kind of
AI is the worst part.
You're also missing reliable 1. Like the T-Series tactical droid does so much for the B2. I remember when that box, the T-Series tactical, like specialist box came out. I think I got 6. They're so good. Yeah,
the T-Series is an amazing upgrade to
super good.
Throw on them. Again, it's a must. It was designed for the B2s. Let's be real.
Absolutely. Well, all right. I appreciate the ruling, even though I didn't like it.
But yeah, no. If you're going to play B2s, have fun. Make sure they've at least got a T-Series, unless you have a plan to get them in order.
That's really what I'm trying to emphasize. You got to have a plan for them. You can't just throw them in a list willy-nilly.
Hey, these guys are cool. I'm throwing them in a list. No, they won't work that way.
No, you got to have a battle plan.
Personally, I think you run Kalani with them because you're not running just one army.
Right. They work better as a group.
I think the minimal number viable is 2.
I think I would agree. At least 2.
Yep.
Cool. That's why I have 2.
Well, if you think our judgment is wrong, or you just want to just give us some general smack talk, please send us an email at swlingloriousblasters@gmail.com. We have a Discord. Want to chat with us? This is also a good place to request new Glorious versus Inglorious segments for us to talk about. We can discuss list building discussions, stuff like that. If you want to show off your pets, we got a channel dedicated for that. That is always one of my favorite channels to talk about. So yeah, come check us out in the Discord. The link is in the show notes. You can also find us on most popular podcasting apps now, including Spotify, Apple, Google, and YouTube. We would really appreciate it if you leave us a rating and a review. That would super help us out. Thank you. And then lastly, you could follow us on Instagram at SWL Inglorious Blasters, Facebook as well. Same sort of deal. Inglorious Blasters, a Star Wars Legion podcast. Search for us. We're there. So, gentlemen, Ewoks are coming. Are we prepared? Are we prepared for the murder bears?
I'm prepared to murder the bears.
Nice. So we're gonna go over some list building ideas and counter ideas. I definitely think there are a lot of people that are excited for them. So, do we want to go for list building ideas first or counters first?
I think probably we should do list building first. So, just a reminder: the Ewoks are mercenary units that can go in the rebellion, or they can be built as a battle force for the Bright Tree Village. So you can see Ewoks in various different ways. The only time you don't have to worry about Ewoks is in the Echo-based defenders. So there's no Ewoks there.
Yep.
There's no Ewoks on Hoth. Yep. You're safe. Um,
But yeah. So with that, actually, do you think there's any value in having Ewoks in a regular Rebel list?
yes.
So for example, are you going to take them? Are you going to take 2 of them? Are you going to take, Wicket or yeah. Anyways.
So let's just start with there are 3 units that the Ewoks have access to that cannot be in a regular Rebel list. That would be C-3PO as a commander, Logray, and ATST Chewbacca. So if you're building a regular Rebel list and want to include Ewoks, can't do that. As for what you can add, you can bring in Wicket as a commander, Ewok skirmishers as core, or Ewok slingers as special forces. I think there's a huge benefit to bringing either or both, if for no other reason than just activation padding, because they are so cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. They're very cheap. Like an Ewok skirmisher with the axe is 55 points. That's kind of a bargain.
And that is 7 models in a unit with low profile and unhindered.
Right.
Yep.
Right, exactly.
Yep. And speed 2. They're fast. They're hard to shoot. So, I mean, you have to get either a lot of crits or more than 3 hits with all the heavy cover out there these days to even land any hits on them. They're gonna die once you get hits on them because they don't have.
I was gonna say if we were laughing at B2s, I'm gonna laugh at this because you're effectively moving 3 from. So like don't say anything too outlandish here.
No,
they got the same saves.
They're gonna die.
They're gonna die. Okay, cool. They're gonna die.
They're gonna die, but they're a lot cheaper.
Yes. See, this is the issue. Oh man, Wicket is. I think I don't know what to do with Wicket in a regular Rebel list other than just go melee something and then maybe put tenacity on him. I don't know. What do you think he's doing?
I think Wicket is a sneaky good unit for things like on blank. What's it called? Hold on. My brain is frozen.
For 180 points for 2 Ewok skirmishers with the axe and then Wicket with no upgrades, you get scouting party, right?
Yeah. Recover the supplies.
Yep.
Wicket will be good at recover the supplies. He'll be great if you want to do a melee focused army because of scouting party. He can only scouting party more Ewoks, but if for the what is it? The one that makes him go faster.
And that his like
forest dwellers.
Yeah, like his one.
So for just 73 points, you could have Wicket and 2 more Ewoks already starting speed 2 outside the deployment zone. It's terrifying, especially if you decide to go the route of I'm building a complete melee focus list, and my special forces are all going to be Wookiees. And somehow we ended up on rapid reinforcements.
I mean, if you somehow end up with that, like your opponent lets you, okay, you deserve that dub probably.
It's terrifying.
It's very terrifying. Oh man, that's funny.
The other thing that's terrifying about regular Ewoks in a regular list is you could have a bunch of Ewoks surrounding, Ahsoka or Operative Luke, and you're going, well, do I attack the lightsaber or these guys that are going to be throwing even more dice than a lightsaber?
You can get I'm just trying to build a fun non-Bright Tree list really quick. You can get 11 acts with Leia, Wicket, Chewbacca, 2 skirmishers, 3 rebel troops, and then 3 Wookiee warriors. So if you just want to bring a bunch of fur, you could definitely do it. Which I think is fun, right? Chewbacca and Leia are definitely going to help out the Ewoks get into melee.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. But yeah, is there anything else? And I guess, yeah, if you just really want to go melee with regular Rebel list, then the Wicket plus 2 skirmisher combo, that's a pretty good starting point. You can get a head start on going towards your opponent. Not bad. But anyways, yeah, Bright Tree is, you can get very, very high activations. So without doing the list building clicking, I think you can get 14 acts, but like you are very slim on like upgrades from what I remember. Yeah, I think it's like
I'm
nuts.
trying to throw in the max here. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, you can get to 14 acts with no upgrades on anything, and be at 765 points.
So, oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty nuts. Is that including like
It's Leia,
only
Wicket, Logray,
Leia, okay.
C-3PO, Ewok skirmishers ×4, 2 Rebel troopers, 3 Ewok slingers, and Chewbacca ATST.
Right. Okay, I'm glad you included the Chewbacca ATST. I think if you're running a Bright Tree list,
You run
Logray
Chewbacca ATST.
and Chewbacca ATST are like mandatory.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think like that's the main reason to take them, because then their command cards are also pretty good. The Bright Tree specific ones.
I'll say there's only one other model that is going to be a must-have in this army, but only once he has an alternate sculpt, and that is C-3PO in his throne. Once he's in his throne,
Yeah.
there's no way you're not playing.
Oh man, I think there's some 3D STL files out already, but yeah, we need an official
An
model.
official model,
Where is it, AMG? Give me the golden god.
right?
Give me the golden god.
Missed opportunity right
man.
there.
So let's see. I'm just trying to like ask interesting questions about Bright Tree. So do you guys think Han Solo is good in Bright Tree?
I mean, he fits in perfectly with all the low profile.
He does, and he's got uncanny, right?
He is also a lot more terrifying because he's got a giant line of sight blocker he can use to get close enough to shoot things and then hide behind.
That's exactly what I wanted someone to say. Yeah, I think Han Solo is going to be really good at getting in the fight and just starting to like, is he Pierce 2? Yeah, of course he is.
Yes.
Just Pierce 2 everything.
Sharpshooter 1, Pierce 2, and Steady, and Gunslinger. He's going to hide behind Chewbacca ATST, poke out, take his 2 shots, and then hide behind Chewbacca again.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I think you should definitely experiment with playing with Han. I think it's going to be pretty good.
I will say that there is one of the requirements for the list is to take 2 Rebel units that aren't Ewoks. I think the way you should play is the Rebel troopers and give them astromechs so they can make sure Chewbacca stays alive, because that is your biggest gun in this army.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot you could take astromechs. Like that just did not cross my mind. That's
since you can't take R2D2.
You can put them on the Rebel troopers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't have been something that crossed my mind either. But yeah, I think
Give Chewbacca.
I forgot they were there. Yeah, because normally rebels are using R2 for like source of repair. Normally.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyways,
so you're giving Chewbacca an extra 4 health with that, and you want him to stay alive because he's got the Arsenal 2 and the Inspire 3, and suppression is definitely a thing you're going to have to worry about with Ewoks.
Right. Absolutely.
So if he goes from 11 health to essentially having 15 health behind white surging defense armor, he becomes a lot less of a target.
Yeah, a lot less killable. So that's man, this looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited. Man, I should get more Ewok boxes. I only pre-ordered 4.
It's more than I
might have been a mistake, but anyways. I think that's probably enough, honestly, if people are listening. Like I think 4 is like might be too many, but even then, like you could play a Bright Tree list like well enough, right? And then fill it in with like 2 Rebel troopers or even commandos. Like with the ATST. You could definitely play this list, I think, effectively. You don't need all the Ewoks. You don't have to spend all of the money.
Yeah, I would say if you're getting 6 boxes, more than 6 boxes of Ewoks, you're just going for the memes at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other highlights or talking points you want to talk about for list building before we get into countering? I think we hit like a good chunk of it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you're building a Bright Tree list and you're not running Chewbacca in an ATST, you better have a very good reason for him not being in an ATST.
Yes, I agreed. I think Bright Tree lists always start with Chewbacca in the ATST and then go from there.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's going to be good. Cool. For countering ideas, so how do we destroy the bears? How do we get rid of them?
The most obvious answer is with flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers are blast, and they hit it's spray. So you count the number of models in the enemy unit, and you add that many dice, however many. So if it's a snowtrooper, I believe it's 1 black die.
Correct.
For each enemy mini. So if you're hitting 7 Ewoks in a unit, that's 7 black dice.
Yeah. So we just talked about we could build a 14 activation list with no upgrades for the Bright Tree Village. So I had some fun, and I came up with an 11 activation Empire list that has 10 flamethrowers.
10? I'm only good at one thing, boys. That's getting rid of things in the forest.
Yep. So 3 dewbacks with flamers, 6 snowtroopers with flamers, and Din Djarin with his flamer.
Right.
And then an Imperial officer for a whopping 787 points.
What, you couldn't fit Boba Fett in there too?
I could, but then I had to get rid of 2 snowtrooper flamers.
Okay, no, the more the better. Okay. The more the better.
Yes, Boba has 2 flamers, but they're both one-time uses. I'm going to get more uses with the snowtroopers.
Yep. Wait. Oh my god. I just realized Din Djarin has whistling birds too.
He does.
So that you roll a number of white dice equal to the number of minis in the unit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there you go. That's pretty disgusting. All right, you heard it here first. Din Djarin's actually really good.
That would be quite the sight to see a whistling bird's attack going off and just Ewok fur flying everywhere. It's just
yeah. Oh my god. That's a glorious sight to see. I can't wait.
But realistically, for dealing with Ewoks, yes, the best thing that you could have is Blast. Next best thing is going to be Sharpshooter. You don't need to really worry about things like Pierce, because they have nothing that is, great at saves. I mean, I don't think they have a single red save unit in the army available to them. At best, they have white surging.
I don't think so. Right. So I think another way you can counter them is they're mainly melee units.
Yes.
So again, you present your own melee threats to go engage them. So Brendan said dewbacks, that's a good one. Royal Guards, they're also very good in melee.
Magna Guard.
Yeah, Magna Guard. Any melee unit that wants to be a melee is going to be good. I imagine Jedi are going to be good as well. They won't kill the whole squad, but they can at least just handle them very well.
Yeah.
So
just shoot them. I think you just gotta have to concentrate on them. I think that's it. Almost like B1s. You don't want to spread your fire out. You want to make sure that you are focusing on one squad till it's fully dead, and then moving on to the next squad till it is fully dead, so that you're not leaving 1 or 2 models so they can run away, and then everything that you put into them was almost like a waste if you didn't kill the activation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say in general, if you have a strong range 3 gun line, you have a really good chance against them, because the only real range 3 threats are either rebel troopers, the Rebel Scouts.
No, Commandos.
Yep. And Chewbacca ATST if it wants to get rid of Incognito before Rage 2.
Right. Agreed. I think there's going to be a lot of ways to handle the bears. So
there's a lot of ways to handle the bears, a lot of ways to play the bears. It's going to be an interesting time with the bears.
How many more times could we say "the bears"?
The bears.
The Bears.
The bears.
Classic SNL, right?
Yeah.
All of our fans in Chicago, you're welcome.
Then we're going to start talking about doubles. Next favorite team. Doubles.
Oh, man. Good old sports ball. Anyways, any other counter ideas before we wrap up the show, actually? Yeah.
Big dice pools. I think that goes without saying.
Black Sun.
Yep.
Yeah. Just throw your Dark Troopers at them. Everyone knows they're good. Alrighty, everyone. I'm going to end this podcast. I'm Corey.
I'm John.
I'm Brendan. Murder bears. Duh, bears.
Stay glorious, everyone.